What if your job was totally optional? I mean, really think about that for a second. That's the big promise behind this movement that's kind of changing everything we thought we knew about work, money, and, well, freedom. It's called FIRE. And today, we are going to pull back the curtain and demystify what it's really all about. Let's get into it.
All right, so here's the plan. First, we're going to talk about the real goal of FIRE. Then we'll crunch the numbers. It's simpler than you think. After that, we'll look at the big debate, lean FIRE versus fat FIRE. We'll also explore some other paths, some middle grounds, and then wrap it all up by talking about how this all helps you design the life you actually want to live.
Okay, let's jump right into part one, the real goal of FIRE. And, the name itself can be a little deceiving because the ultimate prize, it's probably not what you're thinking. So let's just sit with this for a moment. What if your job was optional? I mean, imagine waking up on a Monday and going to work because you want to, not because you have to. A world where your paycheck is just a bonus, not a lifeline. This one idea, this is the bedrock of the entire FIRE philosophy. Okay, so what does FIRE even stand for? It's financial independence, retire early. And honestly, the most important part is right there at the beginning. Financial independence. That's the whole game. It's that magic moment when your investments, whether it's stocks, real estate, you name it, are making enough money all on their own to cover all your living expenses. There's this saying in the community that really nails it. People come for the early retirement, but they stay for the financial independence. It's so true. The idea of quitting your job at 40 is flashy. It's the hook that gets you interested. But the real, lasting prize? It's the security, the peace of mind, the freedom that comes from being financially independent. And that right there is the key takeaway. This isn't just about not working anymore. It's about having options. So many options. Maybe you want to take a pay cut to do a job you're truly passionate about. Or maybe you want to start that business you've been dreaming of, or travel, or volunteer. Financial independence, that's the key that unlocks all of those doors. Okay, so if that's the why, what about the how? How do you actually get there? Well, this isn't just some vague philosophy. There's a real plan, with some math behind it that's actually surprisingly simple. So let's get into it. Let's figure out how to calculate your freedom number. So the entire calculation really boils down to this one big idea, the safe withdrawal rate, or SWR for short. Think of it like a magic number. It's the percentage of your total savings that you can take out every single year and adjust for inflation without, and this is the important part, a high chance of ever running out of money. It's designed to last as long as you do. Now, you've probably heard of the famous 4% rule, right? That was the old standard for a typical 30-year retirement. But here's the thing. If you're retiring early, you need that money to last a lot longer, maybe even forever. So you have to be a bit more conservative. A financial planner named Michael Kitzes really dug into the data and found that 3.5% is kinda the new sweet spot. At that rate, your nest egg could theoretically last indefinitely. So how do you figure out your number? It's literally 2 steps. Super easy. Step 1, decide how much you want to live on per year. Just pick a number. Step 2, take that number and multiply it by 28.6. And you might be asking, where did 28.6 come from? Well, it's just 100 divided by that 3.5% safe withdrawal rate we just talked about. So let's say you want to live on $50,000 a year. You multiply that by 28.6 and you get roughly $1.43 million. That's your target. Simple, right? All right, so once you know the math, it leads you to this really fundamental choice on the FIRE journey, and that's the difference between lean FIRE and fat FIRE. They're 2 totally different paths to get to the same destination, financial independence. So on one hand, you've got lean FIRE. This is the minimalist, frugal path. It's all about living on less so you can save like crazy and hit your number, which is a much smaller number, way, way faster. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have fat FIRE. This is for people who want to live a pretty comfortable, maybe even luxurious lifestyle in retirement. But as you can guess, that means you need a much, much bigger nest egg, and that's probably going to take a lot longer to build. Let's actually put some real numbers on this to see what we're talking about. So if we use the median U.S. household income as a starting point, a lean FIRE person might aim to spend about, say, $34,000 a year. Using our formula, that means their target goal is just under $1 million. Now, someone going for fat FIRE might want to spend more like $103,000 a year. Well, their target nest egg suddenly jumps to almost $3 million.
I mean, just look at that. The difference is absolutely staggering. The path you choose literally creates a $2 million gap in your savings goal. It just goes to show you, your lifestyle choices directly determine the size of the mountain you have to climb.
But here's the good news. It's not just a black and white choice between lean and fat. There's a whole spectrum in between. So now, let's explore some of those other, more flexible paths to independence.
Okay, first up is something called Coast Fire, and this one's really cool. The idea is you save super aggressively, like front load all your savings early in your career, get a decent nest egg built up, and then you just stop. You let the magic of compound interest take over and do all the heavy lifting for you, so your money just coasts to your final goal by the time you're, say, 50 or 60.
Then you've got Barista Fire. And this one is so practical, it's brilliant. This is where you've saved enough that your investments can cover all your basic essential bills, your rent, your food, that kind of stuff. But you still work a chill, part-time job, yeah, maybe at a coffee shop, hence the name, mostly to get access to things like health insurance and to have some extra spending money for fun. And what's so great about these models? Well, they completely shatter that old all-or-nothing idea of retirement. They give you this flexible middle ground. It takes off so much of the pressure to save every single penny for a full lights-out retirement. It's a much smoother, more realistic path to what you could call semi-retirement. Which brings us full circle to our final section, designing your perfect life. Because this is where we take all the math, all the strategies, and connect it back to what this is really all about.
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think about it. Traditional retirement is like a light switch. It's just on or off. One day you're working full-time, the next day you're not. But FIRE, it's more like a dimmer switch. It lets you gradually turn down your reliance on a job you have to do, and at the same time, slowly dial up the kind of life you want to live.
And at the end of the day, that's the whole point. The real power here isn't about never working another day in your life. It's about getting to work on your own terms. It's about changing work from something you have to do into something you choose to do. So let's end right where we started with that same question. I really want you to think about this. What would you do if your paycheck suddenly became optional? What would you pour your time and energy into? Because honestly, answering that question for yourself, that might just be the first step on a whole new journey.